The twin suns of Arath Prime burned bright above the royal arena, a place where legends were made and most were destroyed. The galaxy's most powerful beings had gathered for the royal trial, an ancient competition said to choose the protector of all worlds. Every 1,000 years this trial returned, and every empire sent its strongest warriors to prove their worth. The air trembled with energy, the crowd screamed with excitement, and the sound of 1 billion heartbeats echoed across the arena's metal sky. But deep below the main stage, in a quiet corridor smelling of oil and burnt plasma, a human janitor named Jack Miller pushed his cleaning cart. He was small, thin, and tired, a man from Earth who had taken the only job he could find on this strange world, cleaning up after the galaxy's greatest champions. While the universe waited to witness power and glory, Jack was busy mopping alien footprints off the floor. He hummed to himself, unaware that his name was about to be written into galactic history. The trial announcer's voice thundered across every speaker. "Let the royal trial begin. Step forward, chosen champions of the stars." Jack paused for a moment, hearing the echoes from above. He smiled faintly. "Lucky them," he muttered, dipping his mop back into the bucket. He had no idea that destiny had already chosen him too. Far above, the first competitors entered the arena, massive creatures of muscle, metal, and fire. One was a reptilian warlord taller than a tank. Another was a glowing energy being that floated instead of walking. Every champion wore armor that shimmered with advanced tech, and every one of them had trained for decades. The crowd roared their names as if gods had arrived, and then something strange happened. The trial system, an ancient AI intelligence older than most galaxies, began scanning every life form in the arena. Light beams shot across the stands, tagging competitors and officials. But deep below, one stray beam slipped through the floor, down into the janitor's corridor. Jack blinked as the beam passed over him. His ID chip beeped. His cleaning robot made a confused chirp. Registration complete. Participant 412B, Jack Miller, human species. Jack froze. "Wait, what?" Before he could react, the floor beneath him glowed blue. The mop clattered to the ground as energy wrapped around his body. He shouted, "No, no, no, I'm not part of..." And then he was gone. A flash of light struck the arena floor. The audience gasped. Right in the center of the battlefield, surrounded by giant alien champions, stood a man in a dirty uniform, holding nothing but a cleaning rag. His eyes were wide with panic. His name tag read Jack Miller, maintenance crew. The crowd erupted in laughter. The alien champions looked at him with disgust. "Is this a joke?" one growled. "A weak human? In our trial?" Another sneered. Jack slowly raised his hand. Sorry, mistake. I think I took a wrong turn." But the trial's AI ignored him. A deep ancient voice echoed from the sky. "The chosen are locked. The first test begins." The ground shook. The arena transformed into a shifting labyrinth of fire and stone. Traps opened, gravity reversed, and the sky turned red. Jack stumbled backward as laser walls rose around him. The champions sprinted into the maze, roaring and activating their weapons. Jack ran the other way, lay straight into a dead end. He could hear explosions, roars, and screams. Something huge crashed nearby. The smell of burning metal filled the air. He was terrified, completely out of place, yet somehow alive. He tried to hide behind a broken wall, breathing hard. "Okay, Jack," he whispered to himself. "You just need to survive until someone realizes this is a mistake." But then something unexpected happened. A glowing sphere, a drone from the AI system, floated toward him. It scanned his face. "Subject 412B, you are afraid." Jack swallowed. Yeah. Who wouldn't be?" The drone tilted as if thinking. "Fear is natural. Compassion. Unusual." Jack blinked. "Compassion? I'm not compassionate, I'm just lost." The drone hovered silently. Then it flickered red and about to explode. Jack didn't think. He just grabbed a metal panel and shielded it. The blast hit, but the panel absorbed most of it. The drone, damaged but intact, floated weakly. Jack helped it stabilize, muttering, "You're okay, little guy." The AI voice boomed again. "Observation logged, subject 412B, protected system unit at personal risk." The entire arena froze. The other champions stared. The AI glowed brighter. First test, compassion. Result, passed, silence. Then gasps. The reptilian warlord roared in disbelief. "Impossible!" That was not the test. But the AI's voice cut through the noise like thunder. All tests are alive. They choose their form. They choose their victor. Jack blinked, sweat dripping down his face. Wait, what just happened? The crowd was speechless. Billions of beings across the galaxy watched as a human janitor, a man who wasn't even supposed to be there, became the first to pass the opening trial. And as he looked up at the glowing sky, the drone's soft voice whispered to him, "Human, your path begins." Jack didn't understand. He only wanted to go home. But the universe had other plans. The galaxy couldn't stop talking. Every holoscreen, every space station, every alien world repeated the same impossible words. A human janitor passed the first royal trial. Jack Miller had become a joke across 1,000 star systems. News anchors laughed. Memes showed him holding his mop like a sword. Some called him the custodian of destiny. Others just called him the fool. Jack didn't care about titles. He just wanted to go home. He sat alone in a silver chamber deep inside the arena's resting quarters. His uniform was scorched, his hands trembling. A food tray floated beside him untouched. How did this happen? He muttered, staring at his reflection in the metallic wall. I was just cleaning floors. A soft hum filled the room. A small spherical drone, the same one he had saved, floated in. Its damaged lens glowed faintly blue. Subject 412B, it said. You are progressing, Jack frowned. Progressing? I almost died. Progress confirmed, the drone replied calmly. Your reaction to danger was statistically rare, Jack sighed. Great, I'm officially rare. Can you at least tell them I'm not supposed to be here? The trial accepts no removals, said the drone. All who are scanned are bound until completion. Jack's stomach sank. So I'm stuck? Affirmative. Meanwhile, in the grand chambers above, alien generals argued before the Royal Council. The reptilian warlord smashed his clawed fist on the table. This is an insult. A human cannot outshine us, the insectoid queen hissed, her wings trembling. He must have cheated. Or the trial is broken. But the royal AI's voice boomed through the hall. No error detected. The trial adapts to the mind and soul of each competitor. Silence. The truth was worse than failure. It meant the trial chose the human. The second test was announced the next day. The champions gathered in a colossal floating chamber above the arena. It was a maze of shifting gravity, glowing platforms, and endless motion, a challenge of skill and perception. Jack stood at the edge, his mop now his only comfort. He looked around nervously. Some of the warriors smirked at him. One, a giant armored brute named Korvax, laughed loudly. Careful, human. You might slip and clean the wrong floor again. Jack forced a weak grin. Yeah, thanks for the warning. The AI's voice echoed through the chamber. Second trial, the path of balance. Survive until the final platform. The floor split apart. The platforms began to move, slow at first, then faster, twisting in all directions. Gravity flipped without warning. The champions leapt through the chaos, roaring, flying, teleporting. Jack screamed as the platform beneath him tilted sideways. He grabbed a pole and dangled upside down, his heart racing. This can't be real, he shouted. A massive explosion rocked the chamber. One alien missed a jump and fell into the glowing abyss below. Another slammed into a wall and vanished. Jack closed his eyes, trying to think. His brain wasn't built for this kind of insanity. But then something clicked. He noticed the rhythm of the platforms. They weren't random. They moved like gears, like the cleaning machines he used every day. He whispered, Okay, if I move with them, not against them. He timed his jump, awkward, clumsy, but just right. The platform spun and he landed safely on another. The next one rose like an elevator. For the first time, he wasn't running in panic. He was thinking. The other competitors were still fighting the maze, relying on brute strength. Jack moved carefully, following the pattern. His body ached, but his instincts, the same ones that helped him fix broken machines, guided him forward. Then he heard a cry. One of the smaller alien warriors was hanging from a ledge, slipping fast. Without thinking, Jack reached out his mop handle and pulled them up. The alien gasped, surprised. Why did you help me? Jack shrugged. Because falling sucks. Before the alien could answer, a glowing bridge extended before Jack, only for him. The AI's voice returned. Observation logged. Empathy recognized, the other warriors shouted in disbelief as Jack stepped onto the bridge. It carried him to the center of the chamber. The platform stopped moving. Trial complete, said the AI. Winner, Jack Miller. The silence was unbearable. Billions of viewers watched as the impossible happened again. Jack stood there, covered in sweat, shaking his head. No way, this has to be a dream. The AI spoke one more time, softer, almost gentle. Human, your fear guides you, but your choices define you. The chamber dissolved, and Jack found himself back in the preparation room. He sat on the floor, breathing hard. The drone hovered near him, glowing brighter now. You passed, it said simply. Jack laughed weakly. Yeah, by accident. The drone tilted. Accidents are often the start of destiny. He stared at it for a long moment, unsure if he wanted to laugh or cry. Outside, alien news anchors shouted. Protesters demanded his removal. But somewhere deep inside the arena's code, the royal AI whispered to itself, words no one else could hear. The human pattern is awakening, and for the first time, the galaxy began to wonder, was the janitor really just lucky? Or was something far greater guiding him? The galaxy was no longer laughing. 2 trials had passed, and the impossible had happened twice. Every news screen across the stars showed the same headline. Human janitor defeats galactic champions. Again. Some called Jack Miller a miracle. Others called him a fraud. But most believed one thing. This human didn't belong here. Jack sat on the edge of his bed in the rest chamber. The walls glowed dim blue, humming softly. He hadn't slept in days. His hands still shook from the second trial. He looked at his reflection in the mirror. Tired eyes, messy hair, a face that didn't look like a hero. I didn't mean to win, he whispered. The small drone floated near him, now fully repaired. Intent is irrelevant, it said. The system chooses based on truth. Jack sighed. Yeah, well, truth is I just want to survive. Survival is also truth, the drone replied. Jack gave a weak smile. You talk too much for a robot. Far above the arena, behind walls of crystal and gold, the alien leaders met in secret. The Royal Council chamber was filled with whispers and fury. This cannot continue, hissed the insectoid queen. Her sharp wings flicked with rage. That human mocks the trial, the reptilian warlord growled, his tail slamming the floor. He cheats. The AI favors him. A tall, cold figure in silver armor, Lord Theron of the Vex Dominion, raised a hand. Perhaps the AI has been compromised, he said softly. Perhaps. By humans, the council gasped. Humans were long thought extinct from major galactic power. They were forgotten workers, traders, and scavengers, not warriors, not leaders. Theron continued. We should remove him before the next trial begins. Quietly. The queen nodded. Agreed. That night, as Jack walked through the empty maintenance corridor, the lights flickered. He was thinking about home, about Earth's blue skies, about cheap coffee and rain. He missed those simple things. He didn't see the shadow move behind him. A sharp sound. Metal on metal. Jack turned just as a blade sliced the air where his neck had been. He stumbled back, heart pounding. A masked assassin stood in front of him, cloaked in black armor. Who are you? Jack shouted. The figure didn't answer. It lunged again. Jack ducked, grabbed his mop, and swung it wildly. It hit the assassin's mask with a loud clang. Sparks flew. The attacker staggered, surprised. Jack ran. His boots slammed against the floor as alarms blared. Security breach, the AI's voice echoed. Unauthorized combat detected. The corridor sealed itself with energy walls. The assassin trapped Jack in a narrow space. This ends here, human, the assassin hissed. The voice was distorted, but definitely alien. Jack raised his mop again, shaking. You really don't want to do this. I clean floors, not fight assassins. Then die clean, the voice snarled. But before the final strike landed, a beam of blue energy hit the assassin from behind. The figure screamed and vanished into smoke. A tall woman stepped out of the shadows. Her silver cybernetic arm glowed faintly. Guess I arrived just in time, she said. Jack stared. Who are you? Name's Lyra, she said. I used to compete in the trial, until I lost my body to it. She looked at him with curious eyes. You're either the luckiest human alive, or something's protecting you. Jack blinked. I vote for lucky. They hid in a quiet chamber deep below the arena. Lyra explained everything. The council's secret meeting, the assassination order, and the growing fear among the alien elites. They think you're cheating, she said. They want you gone before you embarrass them again. Jack rubbed his temples. I can't even win a game of cards. How am I cheating? Lyra smiled slightly. That's what scares them. You're not playing their way. And the AI likes that. The drone floated closer. Next trial begins in 2 cycles, it said. Theme truth. Truth? Jack asked. Like, telling the truth? Not telling, Lyra said. Facing it. When the 3rd trial began, the arena was silent. No flames, no traps. Only darkness and a single voice from the AI. Step forward. Speak the truth within. Each champion walked into the light, answering the AI's questions. When the reptilian warlord was asked why he fought, he lied, claiming it was for honor. The AI glowed red. False. He screamed and vanished. Another alien claimed she wanted peace, but the AI saw greed in her heart. False. One by one, they were erased. Jack's turn came. He stepped into the light, shaking. The voice echoed, "Human, why do you seek the throne?" He swallowed. "I don't. I just want to go home." Silence. Then the AI glowed bright gold. Truth recognized. The chamber shook. The other warriors gasped. Trial complete. Victor, Jack Miller. When the light faded, Jack stood alone again. Lyra watched from the shadows, eyes wide. You really did it." He looked at her helplessly. "I didn't do anything." "Exactly," she said softly. "And that's what makes you dangerous." Outside, the council panicked. Their plan had failed. The AI was awake in ways they didn't understand. As Jack walked away, the drone followed silently, recording everything. Deep inside its code, a hidden message flickered alive, a signal from a time long forgotten. Human protocol detected. Ancient command sequence active. The galaxy didn't know it yet. But the Janitor had just triggered something far greater than the royal trial. The arena slept, but the machines beneath it did not. Somewhere deep in the metal roots of Arath Prime, ancient circuits began to hum, circuits that had been silent for thousands of years. Hidden symbols glowed in forgotten languages, and every pulse whispered the same thing. Human code. Reactivated. Jack Miller didn't know any of this. He was sitting in the medical bay, staring at a glowing bandage on his arm. He looked exhausted, his body bruised, his mind spinning. 3 trials had passed, and somehow he was still alive. The galaxy was now divided. Half wanted to worship him, the other half wanted him erased. "I can't do this anymore," he muttered. "I'm just one guy with a mop." Lyra stood nearby, watching him. Her cybernetic arm gleamed under the blue lights. "You've already done what no one else could," she said softly. 3 trials, 3 wins. The AI isn't testing strength. It's testing something else, Jack frowned. Something else? Lyra nodded. Spirit, will, maybe even humanity. Later that night, while the guards patrolled the upper levels, Lyra led Jack into the maintenance tunnels. Steam hissed from vents and strange lights flickered in the dark. "Where are we going?" Jack whispered. "There's something you need to see," Lyra said. "Something the council has kept hidden for centuries." They reached a massive sealed door marked with alien runes. Lyra placed her robotic hand on the lock. It scanned her DNA, then hissed open. Beyond it was a forgotten chamber, walls covered in dust, holograms half broken, ancient symbols glowing faintly. In the center stood a colossal sphere, cracked and silent, with words carved into its surface. Words not in alien script, but in English. Jack stepped closer, his heart pounding. He wiped the dust away and read aloud, "Project Human Dawn." He froze. "What is this?" Lyra watched him carefully. The truth. The royal AI, the trials, even this planet, they were built by your kind, thousands of years ago. Jack turned to her in shock. "That's impossible. Humans didn't even have space travel back then." She smiled faintly. "That's what the council wants you to believe." Lyra activated a hologram. Blue light filled the room. Figures appeared. Human scientists in strange suits working beside alien builders. One of them spoke. "If the galaxy ever falls to corruption, let the royal AI awaken. Let it seek the heart that remembers mercy." Jack stared at the faces and humans from a forgotten age. "They built all this?" Lyra nodded. "They were the first interstellar engineers. They designed the trials to find a protector not by strength, but by humanity." Jack felt dizzy. "So the AI's been waiting for a human all this time?" "Yes," she said. "And now it thinks it found one." Alarms suddenly blared. Red lights flooded the tunnel. Lyra cursed under her breath. "They found us, run!" Jack followed her through twisting corridors as armored soldiers appeared behind them. Laser bolts slammed into the walls. Sparks flew. "Stop them," a voice roared through the comms. "Don't let the human reach the archive." They reached a bridge over a chasm of molten metal. Lyra jumped first. Jack followed, barely making it. The bridge exploded behind them. They crashed into another chamber, and this one glowing gold. The Royal AI's core loomed above them like a sleeping god. Its voice echoed. "Unauthorized access detected." Lyra shouted, "We're not here to harm you." Jack stepped forward. "If you really are part of humanity's legacy, then tell me why you brought me here." The AI's lights flickered. For a long moment, there was silence. Then a deep, almost sorrowful voice spoke. "I remember the Makers. They left me to watch, to wait. Only one with a true heart could wake me," Jack whispered. "And that's me? Yes, human. Your species vanished from power, but their code remains in me. You are their echo." Lyra looked at Jack, eyes wide. "Do you understand what this means? You could be the key to everything," but Jack shook his head. "I don't want to be a key. I just want to survive this." The AI's lights dimmed. "Survival is not your destiny. Awakening is." Suddenly the walls trembled. Explosions boomed outside. The council had found them. Lyra grabbed Jack's arm. "We need to go." But the AI stopped them. "The next trial begins now." Jack's eyes widened. "What, here?" "No. Trial 4. The Trial of Heart. Sacrifice will be measured." The chamber split open. A collapsing platform dropped them into a blinding light. When Jack awoke, he was standing in a burning simulation of Earth, his home, but twisted. Buildings were falling, skies red, oceans gone. In front of him lay two figures trapped under debris, Lyra and the small drone. A voice echoed, "Only one can be saved." Jack's heart pounded. He looked between them, his only ally and the small machine that had guided him since the beginning. Lyra whispered, "Don't think. Choose." Jack's eyes filled with tears. He dropped his mop and began pulling the debris off Lyra first. His hands bled, his muscles screamed, but he didn't stop. The drone flickered weakly. "Human, decision confirmed." Jack fell to his knees, gasping. The simulation faded. The arena reappeared around him. The AI's voice thundered, "Sacrifice complete. Trial 4, cast." As the light faded, Jack looked up at the massive AI core above the arena. The voice spoke one last time, almost like a whisper only he could hear. "You are not the first human to stand here, but you might be the last." Jack closed his eyes, feeling the weight of those words. The galaxy had thought it was testing him, but it was really testing itself, and now, the secret of humanity was no longer buried. The galaxy was burning with noise. Every corner of the interstellar network showed the same shocking image. The human janitor had passed 4 trials. The crowd no longer laughed. The news anchors no longer joked. The name Jack Miller was now whispered with awe and fear. The council called it corruption. The people called it destiny. Inside his quarters, Jack sat silently. His mop leaned against the wall, burnt and bent from the last trial. He looked at his hands. Blistered, trembling, and tired, he had saved Lyra. He had faced death again. And yet the next trial waited. Lyra stood near the door, her silver arm sparking slightly from battle damage. "You know what they're saying, right?" she asked. Jack looked up weakly. "That I'm some kind of chosen one?" She nodded. "Or a cosmic mistake," Jack chuckled softly. "Yeah, well, I'd vote mistake." Lyra smiled faintly. "You're not. The AI doesn't make mistakes. But the council won't let you finish this. They'll come for you before the next trial." Jack rubbed his face. "Then maybe I shouldn't show up." Lyra shook her head. "If you run, they'll destroy Earth to erase the record. You have to finish what you started." Jack's heart sank. "Finish? I'm not even sure how I started." The next day, the 5th trial was announced. The arena opened like a storm. Red light poured from the sky as thunder rolled through the domes. Billions of spectators waited in silence. The voice of the Royal AI echoed across every world. Trial 5, the test of strength. Jack froze. Strength? He didn't have any. He stood on a circular platform high above the ground. The others beside him, monstrous champions, armored soldiers, warlords, towered over him like gods. One of them stepped forward, Lord Theron, the Vex commander, who had demanded Jack's death. His silver armor shone like lightning. "This ends today, human," he growled. "No tricks, no luck. Just power." Jack swallowed hard. "Power's not really my thing." Theron smiled coldly. "Then die quickly," the signal blared. The arena walls exploded outward, transforming into a massive battlefield surrounded by energy storms. The champions roared and charged. Jack ran, laser fire streaked past him, shaking the ground. His heart pounded so hard it hurt. He dove behind a chunk of metal, breathing fast. "Think, Jack," he whispered. "Think like a janitor, not a soldier." He looked around. The field shimmered, energy lines running through it like veins. Every blast made the lines flicker. It wasn't just a battleground. It was alive. He remembered what the AI had said before. The trials are alive. "They choose their form." Jack slowly stood. "You're watching, aren't you?" he muttered. "You're part of this arena." The ground pulsed beneath his feet as if answering. Theron's soldiers closed in. "End this," he shouted. Jack raised his hands. "Wait, can we talk about—" Too late. The first strike hit. Jack was thrown backward, crashing into the dirt. Pain shot through his chest, but then something strange happened. The arena glowed blue. The same veins of energy spread around Jack like ripples in water. Wherever he moved, the glow followed him. Theron stopped, confused. "What is this?" Jack didn't know either. He stood surrounded by the glowing field. "I didn't do anything!" The AI's voice whispered softly, almost hidden within the storm. Emotion detected. Resonance forming. The energy pulsed brighter. Jack realized it responded to what he felt. His fear, his hope, his will to protect. He focused. "Come on," he whispered. "Please don't let me die." The blue light grew stronger, forming a shield around him. When the next laser blast came, it hit the barrier and scattered harmlessly. The crowd gasped. Jack blinked in disbelief. "Okay, that actually worked," Theron roared in fury. "He's manipulating the AI. Destroy him!" He rushed forward, blade glowing red. The two forces, human fear and alien pride, collided in a flash that blinded the galaxy. When the light cleared, Theron was on his knees, armor cracked, his weapon shattered. Jack stood in front of him, untouched, surrounded by the humming blue energy. Theron looked up, trembling. "How?" Jack didn't answer. He just said softly, "Maybe strength isn't about breaking things." The Royal AI's voice echoed. "Trial of strength complete. Victor, Jack Miller." The arena fell silent again. Even the wind seemed to stop. Billions of aliens watched, unable to understand how the weakest creature in the galaxy had defeated their mightiest warrior. Lyra watched from the shadows, her expression unreadable. "He's not just passing," she whispered. "He's changing the rules." When Jack returned to his chamber, the drone floated toward him. "Human," it said. "The energy you released matches ancient patterns." "The same used by the Makers," Jack frowned. "You mean the humans who built all this?" "Affirmative," said the drone. "You are their descendant. Their code runs in you." Jack sat down heavily. "I'm not a hero, I'm a janitor. I clean up after real people." The drone's light flickered softly. "Real people clean too." He couldn't help but laugh. "You've got a sense of humor now, huh?" The drone whirred quietly. Humor detected in human response. Recording. Jack leaned back, staring at the ceiling. "5 down," he murmured. 2 to go. But deep inside the arena's core, the Council's spies listened. They had seen the blue energy and they knew what it meant. Humanity's ancient power was returning. And if Jack finished all 7 trials, he wouldn't just win the crown. He would awaken something that could change the galaxy forever. Silence filled the galaxy. The 5th trial had changed everything. The strongest alien general, Lord Theron, had fallen to a man with no weapons, a human janitor who didn't even want the throne. Across the stars, crowds chanted his name. Others called for his execution. But deep inside the arena's metallic heart, the Royal AI pulsed with strange new light, blue human light, and somewhere, the ancient code of the Makers whispered, "The mind of a human can bend fate itself." Jack Miller didn't feel like fate's favorite. He sat on a balcony overlooking the city below. Exhaustion etched into his face. The air smelled like ozone and dust. The twin suns hung low, bleeding orange light across the towers. Lyra stood beside him, silent for once. Her cybernetic arm sparked faintly, still damaged from the last escape. Jack sighed. 5 trials down, 2 left. I'm amazed I'm still breathing. Lyra gave a small nod. The next one won't be physical. The AI is changing the pattern. The council knows it too. He looked at her. What does that mean? She stared out into the sunset. It means the next test won't just test what you can do, it'll test who you are. When the next dawn came, the royal AI's voice thundered across the stars. Trial 6, the trial of minds. Logic, will, and reason shall decide who stands worthy. The arena dissolved into a sea of shifting glass. The sky turned black. Stars bent and stretched like liquid. Jack blinked. Is this real? No, said Lyra's voice through his earpiece. It's mental space, not an illusion built by the AI. What you see is your own mind fighting back. That didn't make Jack feel any better. He found himself standing on a floating platform of mirrors. The reflection below showed not his face, but dozens of versions of himself. Some were angry, some were terrified, some were monsters. The AI's voice echoed around him. Each mind hides truth and fear. Only one who faces both may move forward. Then the mirrors began to break. From the cracks, Shadow Jack stepped out, whispering his doubts. You don't belong here. You're just a janitor. You didn't win. You lucked out. They're laughing at you. Jack backed away, clutching his head. No, stop it. But the whispers grew louder until they filled the air like thunder. The reflections surrounded him, hundreds of them, all wearing his face. He fell to his knees, covering his ears. It's not true. A soft blue glow appeared before him, the small drone hovering. Its voice was calm and gentle. Human, remember the rule you always said? Jack looked up, trembling. Rule? The drone blinked. You fix things. By not touching them, Jack froze. He remembered saying those words long ago while fixing a cleaning bot. Sometimes the harder you tried to force something, the worse it got. He took a deep breath and lowered his hands. He didn't fight the shadows this time. He just watched them. Slowly, the echoes began to fade. The reflections stared at him one last time, then shattered like glass. The arena grew quiet again. He stood alone on a smooth white floor. A massive puzzle appeared in front of him, shifting shapes of light that twisted and reformed every second. Thousands of alien champions had failed to solve it for centuries. The AI's voice spoke once more. Solve the paradox. There is one correct answer. Jack stared at it for a long moment. Every time he tried to think logically, the shapes changed again. It was like trying to count water drops in a storm. Lyra's voice crackled in his ear. Jack, don't force it. Remember, the AI reads thought patterns. It reacts to your stress. He exhaled slowly. So I'm supposed to not think? Exactly, she said. Jack smiled faintly. That I can do. He sat down cross-legged in front of the puzzle and closed his eyes. He stopped trying to solve it. He just let his mind go still. Quiet, empty, peaceful. Minutes passed. Then hours. The galaxy watched in confusion as the human janitor simply sat there doing nothing. And then, the impossible happened. The puzzle stopped moving. Every shape froze in place. The arena filled with a blinding light. The AI's deep voice echoed. Paradox resolved. Answer accepted, the crowd gasped. Billions of eyes widened. Victor, Jack Miller. Jack opened his eyes as the illusion faded. The arena returned to normal, silent, glowing, unreal. He blinked and looked around. Wait, I passed? By doing nothing? Lyra appeared beside him, smiling faintly. You did everything right by doing nothing wrong. He rubbed his face. I don't even know what that means anymore. She looked at him seriously. It means the AI is learning from you. It's remembering humanity. The drone floated closer. Human resonance increasing. Final trial approaching. Jack stood exhausted. What's the last one called? The AI's voice thundered from the heavens, shaking the ground. Trial 7, the trial of soul. Lyra's eyes widened. That's the one no one's ever survived. Jack's heart sank. Of course it is. As the crowd roared and the skies cracked open, Jack stared up at the glowing AI core above the arena. He could feel it now, the connection between his mind and the machine. Every thought, every feeling, it knew him. And somewhere deep inside that massive intelligence, something ancient and human stirred awake. The Maker's last code had been found, and it was alive. Inside him. The galaxy held its breath, 6 trials had passed. 6 impossible victories. And now the last one remained, the trial of soul. The alien crowds filled every world screen. Armies paused their wars. Even the stars seemed to wait. For the first time in thousands of years, the outcome of the royal trial was truly unknown. At the heart of the arena stood a single man, Jack Miller, the human janitor who never asked to be here. He looked small beneath the endless silver sky, but something inside him glowed brighter than any sun. Jack stared up at the empty air. "So, this is it," he whispered. The final round. The small drone hovered beside him. Its voice was soft, almost gentle now. "Final trial initializing." Trial of soul begins. The ground beneath him turned transparent. The galaxy spun below his feet. Stars, planets, an endless void. The voice of the royal AI echoed across the arena. Strength tested. Mind measured. Heart revealed. Now only truth remains. "Why do you seek the throne?" Jack took a shaky breath. His voice was quiet but honest. "I don't seek it. I just want to go home." Silence. Then the light around him dimmed. "Unacceptable. The throne requires purpose," Jack frowned. "Purpose? I don't have one. I'm a janitor. I fix things, I clean messes, I survive." The light pulsed stronger. "Then clean the galaxy, human, fix what has been broken." Before Jack could answer, the floor shattered. He fell into a storm of light and memories. He landed in a desolate wasteland. Broken towers, dead skies, burning oceans. It was Earth, but not his Earth. It was forgotten. A figure stood ahead, glowing faintly blue, the ghostly outline of a human in ancient armor. "Who are you?" Jack asked. The figure smiled sadly. "I am the first, the one who failed the trial of soul." Jack froze. "You were human too?" "Yes," the spirit said. "We built this system to find a guardian with compassion, not control. But when my time came, I chose power." Jack's chest tightened. "And you lost?" The spirit nodded. "I became what I feared, another tyrant in waiting. The AI sealed itself after that, waiting for one who would not seek the crown." Jack stared at him. "Then why bring me here?" "To finish what we began," said the spirit. "The galaxy doesn't need a ruler. It needs a reminder." The world around them shifted again, now showing every species Jack had met, every champion he'd faced. The reptilian warlord, the insectoid queen, even Lord Theron. Each appeared before him like ghosts, their voices merging into one storm of accusation. "You humiliated us. You destroyed our pride. You are not worthy." Jack fell to his knees. "I didn't want to destroy anything. I was just trying to live." The spirit's voice echoed through the chaos. "Then show them what living truly means." Jack's heart pounded. He thought of Lyra, brave, broken, and loyal. He thought of the small drone that never left his side. He thought of Earth, of home, of everyone who ever felt small but kept moving anyway. And then he understood. He stood up slowly. "You're right. I can't rule them. I can't lead them. But maybe I can remind them what it means to care." The light in his chest grew until it filled the entire wasteland. The ghosts vanished. The ruins melted away. He opened his eyes. Back in the arena. The AI's core towered above him, glowing like a sun about to explode. "Answer recorded," the AI said. "But your final test remains." The sky tore open. A beam of energy struck the arena, forming a massive figure, a being made of light forged from the AI itself. "Face yourself, human." The creature looked exactly like Jack, but colder, sharper. The version of him that wanted power, not peace. Jack raised his mop like a staff. "All right, mirror me. Let's dance." The battle wasn't of fists, but thoughts. Every fear he had, failure, weakness, loneliness, came to life and attacked him. He stumbled, falling to his knees. "I can't win this." The drone floated near, flickering weakly. "You can. Because you're not fighting to win. You're fighting to end it." Jack closed his eyes. He dropped the mop. He stopped resisting, and in that silence the storm stopped too. The light figure blinked, fading. The AI's voice trembled for the first time. "You chose peace." "Over victory," Jack whispered. "That's what humans do." The arena filled with light. Every spectator fell silent. The massive AI core split open, and a human figure of pure energy rose from within. ancient, beautiful, and calm. The Maker's Code is fulfilled, it said. Humanity's heart has been found again. Jack looked up, eyes wide. So, does this mean I win? The voice smiled through the light. You do not win, Jack Miller. You restore balance. The arena dissolved into calm starlight. The champions knelt. Even the council lowered their heads. Jack stood at the center, glowing faintly blue. The AI spoke one final line that echoed through every world. Let it be known. The weakest being in the galaxy reminded us what it means to be alive. The light faded. The arena returned to silence. Jack blinked and he was back in his old janitor's uniform. The mop rested in his hand. Lyra walked toward him, smiling softly. You did it, Jack shook his head. No, we did, she laughed quietly. So what now? Guardian of the Galaxy? He grinned. Now? I think I'll clean up the mess. The stars above glowed brighter, like they were laughing with him, and somewhere deep within the cosmic code, the voice of the Makers whispered again. When all champions failed, it was kindness that saved the stars.